What's up, guys? What's up? I got I got some banger food here. I was in a meeting before this, so I didn't eat before stream, so I've been eating this 11 minutes. Not done, but getting there. I'm getting there. Exciting week, because something releases Thursday. Do you know what releases Thursday? Do you know what game is coming out Thursday? Something I've waited years for. No? Heathens, dude. This is why I need to stream video games, because I need to show you guys what's good. I need to show you what's good. Yeah, it's Metroid Prime 4. I have replayed the first game unironically like 20 times throughout my lifetime. It's one of my most favorite games. I love the first game so much. I love 2 as well. I don't dislike 3. It was a little bit of a tech demo for the Wiimote. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. But it was still good. There were just some long sequences where you have to run through an area and you're using the Wiimote a lot. And I'm like, okay, I get it. The Wiimote's cool. That was the only thing. Yeah, I love Echoes. I think I've replayed Echoes probably 10 times. I love Metroid. I love Metroid so much. In general. Yeah, I when I initially played it, I liked it, but I was like one of those people that was like, it's not like the original Metroid, because I loved the 2D games so much. But I played through it, and by the time I got to the end, I loved it. I loved it so much, and I immediately replayed it as soon as I beat it. And I just fucking it was amazing. It was amazing. And then 2 came out, and that game was fucking insanely good too. I actually think it might be better. I think it's a better game than the first one. There's just some nostalgia with the first one for me. Such a good series. And I really thought it was dead, because the last one came out on the Wii, and that was it. And then they announced that they were working on 4 years ago, and I was like, what? Oh my god, it's here. And then they took forever because they were gonna put it on Switch 2. So with how it kept not getting mentioned and taking a while, I was like, there's no way this is not going on the next console, you know? So I'm just glad. Has an incredible atmosphere and immersion, still almost kind of unrivaled. Yeah. I don't like a lot of the way a lot of like cosmic horror is done. And I think Metroid hits exactly what I want, which is I want it to be a mix between action and cosmic horror, right? Like, if we're capable of going to space, we probably have good weapons. We probably, to the extent that they go to space in the games, we probably have good weapons. We probably have this other shit, but somehow every game where they're like super, or movies too, where they're super advanced and then cosmic horror becomes a thing within that, they're like totally helpless. You know? And I feel like Metroid hits that good medium of it's so fucking scary sometimes. Yeah, Prime 2 was really scary. It has some Dead Space vibes here and there. Well, the gameplay is very different, but it has some vibes like that here and there. But then it still lets you get strong enough to win in the end, which I feel like most horror games don't let you do. It's just like, oh, you escaped and the thing is still out there. which arguably things are still out there in the Metroid games, yes, but you still get to like beat the one thing that you need to beat. And I just feel like that's so satisfying, and I hate when they don't give you that in any horror games. I think some of them it makes sense that you don't get that, but you know. But you know, Metroid does the typical thing too of like, you see a lot of the enemies you're gonna see in the game instantly. And in the beginning of the game, you every Metroid game starts the same way, where like you've crash landed somewhere or something's happened and you are Samus, but you have like nothing on you, none of your equipment. So you're just escaping and running away from stuff usually in the beginnings of these games. And then you slowly go through different areas and pick up pieces of your gear and get stronger, and then eventually you're able to take on a thing and, you know, whatever. And I just like that format, because then you're taking things that you used to run away from and now you're killing them by the end of the game, you know? Oh, I need to move that image back. Nane, how are you? I was sitting here talking about Metroid while I'm eating. Hope your stream was good. Hope your stream was great. But yeah, I'm excited for Metroid Thursday. Because I really do like cosmic horror. I just... It's hard to hit it on the head properly, to do it properly. And I feel like Metroid has a really good mix of being a cool action game, but then giving you horror moments that are like truly terrifying. Dread was scary as hell. Metroid Dread, by the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, I'm running around super fast. I'm doing Shine Spark puzzles and I'm killing shit. You know, yeah. But in the beginning, the first time you run into one of the Emmys and you're getting like attacked by this robot, it is like, you feel like crying, you know? Like, it's really good. It's very like, you're just running around, it's quiet, and then all of a sudden you're in this like near-death thing, a thing's trying to stick a needle in your eyeball and you're like, ah, you know? It's so good. So good. Anyway, I love Metroid. I'm excited for 4. I hope it's good. Said your attempts to get into 2D Metroid left you very underwhelmed and feel bad that you haven't enjoyed the series so far. It just might not be for you. Even the best games will always have people that are like, yeah, this isn't for me. You know? There's some things that other people love that I can't stand. You know? And sometimes I'm like, well, I just actually think it's not good. And then there are other times where I'm like, objectively, I think it's good. I just don't like it. You don't have to like it. You know? I do, though. I do. You hated all the Bethesda games? That's fair. I think there are a lot of popular games I haven't liked. There are plenty. There are some that, I don't know, they just didn't hit for me at all. One that I really don't like, that I always mention I don't like when people mention it, is Undertale. I really didn't like Undertale. There were things about the gameplay that I thought were cool. But overall, I did not enjoy my time. And that is just something I have to say. I'm not going to pretend to like it. I also objectively don't think it's a great game. I think it has elements that are incredibly good. But they don't outshine the rest of it all feeling super not good to me. But, I think that makes it middling, like, overall at the end, right? But people get really upset. People get really upset, and I'm like, I'm sorry for having an opinion, man. But you can have those opinions here, and I might be like, that's not my opinion. But I'm not gonna, like, ban you. You know? Same with, mouthwashing. I was trying to think, I was like, what did I play recently that I didn't like? Mouthwashing. I didn't like it at all. I mean, I had fun streaming it because streaming it is fun, because talking about the game while playing it to people was fun. So I had fun streaming it, but if I sat down and played it and didn't stream it, I wouldn't have liked that game at all. I would have stopped playing it probably. That's just me. Blueprints was one of my favorites, but I know plenty of people that stopped because they were like, I just don't know what to do, and I'm overwhelmed and I don't get it. Some people kind of got it, but they were just like, I don't like these styles of environmental puzzles. I want to play The Witness. And I'm like, well, not all of us have taste or whatever. But, you know, certain things are just not for certain people. That's okay. I I'm really curious to see what's going to win Game of the Year for this year, because we've had so much good shit release. And I'm sitting here like, dude, Blueprints was my Game of the Year. That was the one. But yeah, I think Expedition 33 is probably going to take it. That's what I think too. It's on my list to play it. I know I've said this before. I don't know how to describe it, but something about that game makes me really not like it. Just when I look at it. Just when I look at it. The gameplay looks great. The gameplay looks wonderful, so don't mind me, you know? No, it's not that it's French. It's that I don't know how to say this. It's kind of gay. Do you know what I mean? I mean like 2005 gay, not like homosexual gay. Do you get what I'm saying? No, not French. Maybe a little gay or European, they always say. But, you know. Do you get what I'm saying, though? Yeah, Tumblr coded. That's a good way to put it. I don't like stuff like that. That's just me. If it's like actual homosexual, I'm like, yes, you know? But when it's Tumblr coded, I'm like, just my opinion. I don't like stuff like that. I have no idea what you mean. It's hard to describe unless you, like, in 2005 were part of, like, a specific bucket of people. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. I don't think there are any gay characters in it. Yeah, that's why I don't mean it. I don't mean it like that. That's why I'm like, I need a better word for this. It's got a lot of feelings. It's got a lot of quirkiness. It's Tumblr coded. And I feel like that can be done well. But when that's the basis of something, I start to immediately dig in my heels. I'm still going to give the game a chance because the gameplay looks really good. It looks like something that I would love. No, stop saying words, guys. You're like saying all these wrong words, and then people are going to see this and think that that's what I mean, which is not it at all. Stop guessing words. I'll just explain it as best I can. No, it's... Honestly, it's the same thing I didn't like about Undertale, though it's not the same flavor. I don't know how to describe this, though. It's also... You know what I mean, but you don't have the word for it. Yeah, that's where I am. That's where I'm at. I don't know, there's just something about that just, like, hits the wrong spot for me. And I've been trying to put my finger on it. I think part of it is I really can't stand in movies and games and everything when the, like, there's bigger fish to fry and then people keep talking about their feelings and they spend 45 minutes on scenes with people talking about their feelings, but I'm like, there are robots outside and you have to run. You know what I mean? It makes it feel surreal. It makes it feel unrealistic to me. Because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with talking about this after, but in this moment, you would never do that, right? Anime does this a lot, and I think this is actually one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of anime. Because they'll be, like, having a dramatic scene in the middle of a fight, and they'll be like, brother, you something, and they're, like, bleeding, and I'm like, yeah, the exposition and stuff. Like, some of that, I think you need some of it for the storytelling, but when they extend the amount of time spent on that, I start to get really bothered because now I'm pulled right out of the immersion, right? I'm like, there's a tipping point where it goes from like, okay, I get it, we're doing a little exposition because we're telling a story, to suddenly I'm out of this now. You know? And it makes watching or playing certain things a little tough for me. Let's go over here. And there's multiple things about games like that usually kind of go in hand with that, but that's one of the things. You know? "33 is surrealist, though. I know that that's important to the story because I've, like, seen bits of it. I don't think that makes it any better for me. I don't think that makes it better for me. At all. I don't know. I don't know. But there's other stuff about it too that I don't like, but it's just me. I have a hard time enjoying things that I can't enjoy visually and aesthetically. And I know people are like, this game is one of the most visually beautiful games I've ever played. I think it's very well executed. 100% agree. I don't like the styling of it. Like, just from a preference standpoint. I'm like, I don't think any of this looks cool. You know? I don't think, not any of this, but like a lot of scenes that I've seen from the game, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I would never make anything look like this ever. You know, it just clashes with what I like to look at, I guess is the best way to put that. I'm looking at pictures of it right now. There are certain things, I mean, obviously just them in nature is not the problem, but like certain scenes, I'm just like, I don't know, it just ain't it. It just ain't it. I do like a lot of the enemy designs, though, actually. A lot of like the enemy and monster designs, I really enjoyed. Because I've a lot of my friends have played it on stream, so I've seen like plenty of bits of it. So I think a lot of the enemy designs and the overall like cinematic feel does hit. I think that's done really well. It's just, there are like things mixed in with all of that. Some of the in-betweens that just like take me out of it. I don't know. But I might feel very differently if I play it, right? This might just be that maybe I have seen certain scenes and not a lot of others, and you know, maybe I would feel differently if I just sat there and put the hours through it normally and got a feel for like the pacing and how much time they spend on certain things, then, you know. So I don't know. So that's why I'm still gonna play it. Even though I've seen a lot of bits of it, I'm still gonna play it. Because at the end of the day, I like that style of gameplay. You know, and I could still like a game if even if it hits everything else wrong. If the gameplay's fun, I'll just be like, all right, fuck it. You know, fuck it. You know. So we'll see. We'll see. You said give it a playthrough or two and then see. Or two. You think I have hours? Why do you think I haven't even played it yet? I can't play any game I want to play to the extent that I want to play it. Unless I play it on stream. And plenty of the things I want to play are not things that I can know live on stream because I feel like you guys would feel tortured. So I just can't. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jam. You said the art style of it sometimes gives you the same vibes as some of the indie artists try so hard to be thought-provoking that it ends up coming off as pretentious. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it for a lot of games for me. A game that does that really heavily and really, in my mind, really fucked it up was Life is Strange. Such a good concept. And I remember when the trailer came out and they were talking about that game and how it was going to play, I was like, that's such a good idea, and I really am excited for this game. I was waiting for Life is Strange to come out, genuinely. I was like, this is cool. And then it came out and I played it and I was like, I hate this game. Portland slop, exactly. I was like, I hate this game so much. Because it was so focused on being thought-provoking that it didn't focus on anything else. And it didn't even do that in the best of ways. And it railroaded you through how these characters think and act, and like, I don't know, I just didn't like the characters either. I was like, I didn't identify with any of them. They didn't have any character in there where I was like, this reminds me of myself at this age. Because it's very much like a teenagerhood type of story, which a lot of stories are, right? And usually when you see that, there's always like one character that you can kind of be like, oh yeah, I used to do that too. Oh, I remember being like that. There's some sort of identification. I didn't have anything in common with like any of the characters in that game. Any of them. So I remember playing through it and I was like, this just isn't for me. I don't mind if the main character is nothing like me, but then there are other characters I identify with more, or I just like more. But I just didn't like any of the characters in that game, and it just made it miss so hard for me. So hard. Weirdly enough, it's also made by French people. You know something? I have this, like... My mom said something a long time ago about French people. And it was something that was a totally mundane statement and was never actually bad. But when I was a kid, I pretended that I took it as her saying she hated French people. She was like, no, I was saying... It was something about food, right? And, she was like, you know, everything's sauce-based, whatever. Like, she said something. And I was... Ever since then, I have never let her have it. I'm always like, yeah, well, she hates French people. So, like, any chance I get to pretend that she hates French people, I will always bring it up. And then every time, she's like, I don't hate French people. I've never said this. And it's like a meme that I just always throw on her. So now I gotta let her know. I gotta be like, do you know 2 of the games I can't stand? Both made by French people. Just to piss her off. I'm gonna go to her. And I'm gonna be like, you were right. She's gonna be like, what do you mean? Right about what? I'll have to make fun of her for it. It's just, she didn't even say anything like that. She just said something about the food. She like categorized it and was like, yeah, so much of it is sauce based and it's always these complex blended sauces and stuff, but like just do blah 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 blah. She was just like comparing it to other cuisines. And she kind of was explaining it as one trick because she was like, it's just sauce and you throw a lot of butter in, and that's all, like so much French food. And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. I think you can say that about every cuisine that's like, you know, 2 or 3 things on repeat. It's whatever. But she like said something like that, and she was like, I don't dislike it. They just do this. So, and ever since then, I've told her for years and years. I've been like, oh well, you hate the French, so. Try to figure out where to eat. Well, we can't go to this restaurant because it's French and you hate the French, so. I've just done that to her for forever. She hates it so much. But I don't know, I just like... I feel the need to grief family members. Sorry if you hear all these container sounds, I'm closing up a food container. I just feel the need to grief them. You know? You just gotta. You just gotta. How she feel French toast and French fries? Oh, I always call them freedom fries in front of her. I'll be like, oh, we're like doing a drive-through, you know? I hand them like, here are your freedom fries. And she's like, oh my God. Like, you could call them French fries, it's fine, you know? It's fine. Oh man. No, the extent of griefing is it's bad. It's bad. Them's my freedom fries. What were some others? Did they call them freedom dogs? What was the other one that they called? Hold on. Freedom fries. Politically motivated food name changes. Oh, during World War I, they tried to rename sauerkraut to Liberty Cabbage. And hamburgers as Liberty Steaks. I don't think that one ever caught on. Nice try. Oh yeah, they tried to make French toast freedom toast. That's good. That's good. Freedom fries. I'm glad none of that shit stuck, man. I don't imagine talking about like what food you like to eat and then you have to say freedom fries out loud. Like that's horrifying. That feels embarrassing. You know, no thanks. Fallout 3 type names. Well, that's kind of where like Fallout 3 gets a lot of that writing direction from, is like this should actually kind of happen, or people tried to make it happen, you know? So, yeah, that's where it comes from, man. And it's funny. It's just like, obviously at the time it was a big deal, but retroactively, that shit's funny. You know? A burger named Liberty Steak would probably slap, though. I mean, yeah, there's some crazy burger names out there because, like, it's just the most American thing, right? Or especially from the, I don't think it's the most American thing, but from the outside, from non-Americans, they think that's the most American thing, you know? So, yeah, there are some crazy fucking names for cheeseburgers sometimes at certain restaurants. You know? Yeah, Flavius, you said, with risk of turning it, yeah, deleted. Bye-bye. Ooh, in your town you have a place that'll make a quadruple heart attack burger? Ooh, I love greasy, fatty food. I love it so much. So much. Dripping in oil. But, you know, while it's not the same as, like, meat grease, you know, a lot of Italian food is like, put oil in a pan, cook thing, drop something in there, put more oil on top. As you eat it, put more oil on top, you know? So, like, so, you know, there's that. But I love, like just, yeah, heart attack food, man. Oh, butter and everything. Natural meat grease, natural. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. Obviously, I try to not eat like that all the time. It's a classic American food. There's plenty of American food that's not like that. But it depends on where you go. I feel like when you go south and Midwest, you get more of that. More of it. But then when you're on the coasts, it's less bad. Depends, though. Depends. They should cook in tallow again. It's so good. Well, they still do. It's just doing stuff like that is, like, expensive nowadays. So, you know. I like making a burger and then cooking an egg for the burger in the burger juice for extra burger flavor. Dude, this is what I do love about French cooking, right? Or Italian cooking as well. You cook something down, you cook some meat down first, typically in a pan. And it's got a bunch of grease. And you don't pour it out. No, you deglaze. You throw wine in there, you deglaze, and you're like, that's the flavor. And then you stir it in. It's so good. It's so good, man. Delicious. Is delicious. Give me artificial grease. I want scientifically designed to destroy my arteries. Nah, man. I'm, you know, I'm still a big vegetable eater. I love very, very properly made vegetables and all that. But yeah, no, I love something fucking greasy as hell with it when I can. Never been in the US. I heard food is either very salty or very sweet. The problem is it depends on where you go, because the US is like 100 different countries. Every region is a bit different. There are a lot of things that you'll find in common between regions, but for example, when I eat pizza in New York, it tastes a certain way, and different places have their different recipes, but it's a style. And then I go south and I eat at a place that claims to have New York style pizza, and it tastes different and the textures are wrong and I don't like it. Because I'm used to New York style pizza, but like not New York style, actually from New York, right? So yeah, it's all in the water. It's in a lot of other things too, honestly. They do it wrong. But you know, each like region has its stuff, and other places will say they do it right, true to region, but they don't always. So I don't know, but it depends on where you go for like the sweet and saltiness. I do find in New York there's a big range because of all the immigrants, you know, and everything, and just the wide range of food that's always been there for a long time. So I find it very easy to find a lot of food that's not that salty, not that sweet, not that greasy. There's tons of it. But that's New York, you know, and the Northeast has a lot of that too, depending on where you go, kind of spread out from there. But then anytime I've had to travel to like the Midwest for work, yeah, everything feels a little saltier. All the sweets are like too sweet for me, and you know, so it really depends on area. It really depends on area. So South Dakota is not known for its culinary experience or much of anything aside from a desert and a small sculpted mountain. You know, I've actually been to South Dakota several times. I have been. I have been. I think it's gorgeous. There's like nothing there. But if you like nature, which I do, if you like nature, it can be beautiful. And I actually think it's quite nice. And I've said many times, I've been like, if I had to retire somewhere and just leave, I don't think I have it in me to leave the Northeast, but if I like wanted to, bro, South Dakota. It has fucking nothing. It costs nothing. It's just nature. Like, yeah, that would be the place. But I like food, so that's a problem. That's a problem. Midwest is getting better, but we're still pretty casserole dependent. Oh, yeah, I hate casseroles. Yeah. Here. He has his nose, my cat, he has his nose and lips shoved under the door right against the floor and he's meowing. Lucky. It's really cute because I can see that the gap under the door is pretty big and I can see his nose. Why didn't that play? I'm reopening it. But yeah, I don't like casseroles, man. I don't understand them. I've had them. I've had people be like, green bean casserole is good though. You gotta try my mom's green bean casserole. Everyone loves this. Everyone says my mom's green bean casserole is the best. And even when I eat the ones that are good, I'm like, I see that this is better. I still don't think this is the right way to use any of these ingredients, you know? Like how could you want to cook down a green bean instead of blanching it and leaving it naturally delicious? You cook it down so it becomes slop? It doesn't even taste like a green bean anymore. I hate it. Green beans are amazingly good. So good. Tiny bit of salt and pepper. Tiny bit of butter. Tiny bit of garlic. Boom. And you blanch it. Delicious. But then people cook down green beans until they like turn to slop and lose their flavor. It's so bad. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a green bean slander. I'm not slandering green beans. I'm saying other people slander them by cooking them down too much. It's National Casserole Month. I know these things aren't real. It's National Whatever Day. It's Global Whatever Day. It's Global Whatever Month. It's marketing. It's not real, okay? It's not real. Oh, it's National Girlfriend Day. You made that up so you could sell cards and candy to people because now girls are going to see it and they're going to go to their boyfriend. They're going to be like, did you know it's National Girlfriend Day? So they can get Valentine's Part 2. It's fake, okay? They're just selling shit. That's how holidays work. Nuh-uh, not the OG ones. None of them are real. Joel, we know this. But the OG ones aren't there to sell you shit. The OG ones are there because people thought that, like, spirits were gonna come and eat their family, okay? It's very different. We gotta put lamb's blood on the doorway so the spirits don't come in and take grandma, all right? Now that's a holiday. Oh, it's girlfriend day so you could sell chocolate? That sucks, okay? That sucks. Yeah, not saying they're not stupid. But I'm a fan of that, not the other one, you know? You know what I'm saying? Old Easter sounds intense as fuck. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and it depends on what kind of family you're from. I would say my family is very it depends on what side of the family, but they're very traditionally Catholic, not religiously Catholic. So they're not like, they don't care if you believe in God at all. Like, they don't care if I believe in anything. They really don't give a fuck. But they believe in a lot of the traditions being practiced for various more normal reasons, I would say. More standard reasons. Or because some of them, they're like, I just like this tradition. Yeah, they're very chill about it. Very chill. And so because of this, some of the things we do on some of these holidays are like very old-fashioned. And I love it. I love it because it sounds crazy, but it's fun. It's just fun shit to do. I don't know. I think you can make the argument that old holidays were meant to trick people into doing shit. A lot of the time, yes. But I think they've built up so much culturally that they've become about a lot of other things too, at this point, right? And like Christmas has become a bastardized version of itself. It is like two things. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's like this beautiful holiday about family and about giving. There's so much philanthropy during the season. There's so much reminder. It's a thing in the middle of the winter months when people are seasonally depressed that undepresses them a bit. Huge for mental health. Huge for people. Something to look forward to in the middle of the winter season. Great. Wonderful. But then it's also like that time that you spend all this money because you feel obligated to. And like, you're like, oh, now I got to get a gift for 50 people that half of them I barely know. And it just kind of like, I don't like the insane consumerism and shit. But I like the other part, and especially if you're very traditional, it's very much about food. And I love food. Okay? We do the whole 12 days. There's shit going on until Little Christmas, okay? Which on the 6th, and then there's just all these different things you eat each different day. I love that. And then different activities you do on these different days as well. Love that shit. And a lot of my family has been very very into not buying each other gifts. We've been like, hey, let's just not do any of that. Because I give you a gift card and then you give me a gift card, and we've exchanged money that is now locked to a gift card. Wow, you did it. It's cute, but it's not necessary. So a lot of us just kind of do card giving, and then we don't worry about the rest. I don't buy stuff for my cousins anymore if they have kids. I just buy stuff for their kids, for example. Like the ones who get gifts are it's just the kids, and then we genuinely like are fulfilled by just watching them open stuff and being like, ooh, what'd you get? Ooh, like we don't really, how many trinkets do I need to get, right? So yeah, if you have kids in my family, you get demoted. You never get bought anything ever again. Except for like Mother and Father's Day, which my family actually makes a big deal out of Mother and Father's Day. Like we all get each other things, and it's not just like say thanks to your own mother. It's your grandparents, the other mothers in the family, because we don't give them anything on any of the other days. So, make up for it a little bit. Or something. Yada mutters. Ooh, you buy gifts for the kids and the adults do a white elephant. I was gonna suggest that to my family sometime soon. That we do something like that. But I don't know. I also like doing really specific gifts because a lot of my family likes reading. Like everyone's got a pretty solid library, and I'll gift books. If I like a book, I'll be like, all right, well, this one was great this year. Everyone gets it, Just get like, here's the new book. Stuff like that. We don't really do expensive gifts either. It's just like, give me one thing. Your family tends to pool money for one gift to the grandparents. Yeah. Yeah. I only have one left, so I have like we're going kind of hard on what we get for them. And we're going pretty hard on it because it's like they're really old, and but they've got their wits about them and they're doing well. So I'm trying to go crazy on the presents this year for them. Got a limit of 30 to 50 in your family? My family always made, for the adults, they always made the limit $30. They kept it really low. And I'm like, nowadays, I don't know how sustainable it is to get anything good for that. Why is it not playing your TTS?
Pro tip for white elephants, you can theme them. Snacks white elephant goes hard. This has been your pro gaming Christmas tips. Checking out.
No, it's true. It's true. It's very, very true. I do that a lot with family celebrations where I tell people like just bring food. Don't bring gifts, but bring something and you make it. And it can be potluck. It can be, but then I also say bring something that people can take home with them as well. Or instead, right? And yeah, like snacks end up being a thing a lot of the time, all that. And that is so much more appreciated than, like, you know, here's your 50th towel in a mildly wintry theme, you know, or whatever the fuck. So, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Your aunts and uncles buy you scratch-off tickets? Oh. Oh, yeah, I'd so much rather get the gift card. I would. I would. Ooh, you found a kettle corn company with tons of flavors. Everyone's getting kettle corn this year. Yeah, if you want to make stuff yourself, my go-to is making, like, do you guys like praline? Do you like praline? I make some, like, I do like the French style. What's that? It's just nuts, candied nuts. But it's the type where you pour a caramel into it and it becomes like a whole chunk of stuff that you can pick up. I'll make things like that, but I'll try to make it like... I'll do a caramel, but I'll put a light amount of it so it's not like covered, you know, completely. It's just like lightly coated. And I'll do that along with, like, I'll salt it a little bit and then I'll try to throw it with something else that's not less unhealthy. And I like to make that sort of stuff. I love it. I like a lot of, like, nut and almond based sweets, especially when they're focused on that less than the sweetness level. So I'll make stuff like that. When your grandparents get you socks every Christmas. Something my mom does is every single year she gets the youngest person in each nuclear family, or not the youngest, but the, like, all the kids, right? Everyone gets an ornament. She buys some sort of unique ornament for a tree. I have never in my life purchased ornaments or anything, and I have a tree full, just full of them, because she always does that. Which I think is nice, because I think Christmas trees look nice when they're not, like, ultra planned out, when they're just, like, covered in shit that you've accumulated. It looks more homegrown, you know, rather than, like those shitty ones where you just buy a pack of red ones and throw them on there and it looks all, like, homogenous. You know what I mean? There's something nice about that. So she'll always do that. And it's not expensive, and it's just, like, a little trinket that you can get, and you can take it out at Christmas time. And I'm like, I don't mind that. I don't mind that as a gift. You have old Pokemon toys from '95 you turned into ornaments. Yeah, I have a set. A lot of the ornaments she gets me, she tends to get me ones that are bird themed. Because when I set up my Christmas tree, I was like, I really wanted to be covered in, like, bird and animal themed ornaments. I have some that aren't that, but my tree each year is, like, half of it is just fake birds. Straight up. I don't know if you've ever seen these little bird ornaments that are made from old dried mushrooms. This is a thing. I have, like, some vintage ones. There's, like, people used to take these, like, mushrooms and dry them, completely desiccate them, and then turn them over and paint them and add some shit to them, and turn them into a bird ornament. I don't know if I can find any. This is, like, a thing that people used to do, like, a really long time ago. The ones I have are, they're from, like, the 40s. Here. Here. Okay, so someone, they're usually, like, hand painted. Mine are not these colors, but people would take these mushrooms that had this one shape, and you could, like, you would carve them. You would carve them a little bit. You just carve the sides a little, and it's, like, really easy to make them into the shape of a bird. And then you would attach little bits on the sides and, like, little feathers and make it look like a bird. I have a ton of these that are, like, vintage dried mushroom bird ornaments. No, they don't rot because you completely dry them. You, like, salt cure them and then fully, they're, like, desiccated. Here's another set. You can see these ones, you can tell, like, they look old, but I like them looking old. These. Mine are more colors like this. I've got a fuck ton of these, and they're like, the ones I've got are old. I have ones that look like owls as well. They're just made from dried mushrooms. I don't know. I don't know who decided to start doing this, but at some point some people started doing this a long time ago. And I've got a bunch. I've like collected them for Christmas decorations. And what you do is so people just shove them into the tree and just like let them kind of sit on top of branches. A lot of mine have glued onto the bottom. They have a little clips. You can clip them onto the branches. So my tree ends up being covered in these like tiny birds. I have a lot of other ornaments that are more modern that are like plastic or whatever that are like not not made of desiccated mushrooms. Yeah, mummified. They're literally mummified. But they're cool. They're cool. I don't know. I like them. But my tree every year is covered in I'd say about half of it is fake birds. Yeah, you said they're like dried flowers. They might be more fragile, but they last forever. Yeah. Yeah, they do. They kind of like feel like foam. They're very light. There's a lot of airspace, I guess, in a mushroom when dried like that. And it's cool. It's cool. They're super light, so they don't weigh down the branches. So you can attach them to the tree, and however the tree is posed, it'll stay like that. You don't weigh anything down. I don't know. I like them. Yeah, you said they feel like something between a rock and styrofoam. Yep. Yep. But I have that. I have a lot of decorations that look really like natural for my tree. I don't like tinsel, and I don't like tinsely garlands around trees and stuff. Do your cats care much about the tree? Nah. No, they sniff it when it first comes out, and they're like, what's this? And then they're over it. They're over it pretty quickly. Better than your many pine cone Christmas ornaments? No, I think pine cones are good. They fit the tree. I like that. I have a bunch that are like woodland creatures as well, and I tend to hang them like lower on the tree, and then the birds up higher, so like it's like a gradient. All white light type of person or multicolored? I like all white on the tree, actually. The warm white lights. Because I have a lot of the ornaments that I have are different colors. So when I have multicolored lights, I feel like it becomes too much. But both are good. Both are good. Both are cute. I think the multicolored is cute depending on what ornaments you have. Your mom does all gold on the tree? That's a lot. That's a lot. I have so many ornaments too that are my grandmother handmade. What do you call it? What do you call it when you have yarn and you have a plastic mesh and you make, it's like pixel art where you make art by wrapping different colors of yarn around to make things. What do you call that? That's not needlepoint, obviously. No, it's not needlepoint. Needlepoint is when you do that in fabric. It's the same idea, but she does it with yarn. It's not crochet, it's not embroidery. Plastic canvas, yeah, I guess you could call it that. Hold on. She would design up. It's not exactly latch hook, but it's like that same type of lattice. Yeah, I think plastic canvas is what you call it. Is it cross stitch when you have that type of backing? Hold on, let me look. It's not cross stitch. No, no, no. Cross stitching is like still fabric based. Basically, she would take oh, macrame. Is it macrame? Is it? That word is familiar. I don't know if this is it. No, 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 no. She can do that though. She's very talented. Yeah, it's just plastic canvas. So she would take plastic canvas, which is like this plastic, grid map, and she would. I'll show you an example of a cute, simple one. She would make really complex sculptures though out of this stuff, and they would be 3-dimensional, but like this. Okay, so there's this little plastic grid map that they sketched out a design on and then cut out. And then they just go through with like a hook and they put yarn through it in the spots that it should be whatever color, right? You know those? I guess it's just, it's just called... Is it still cross-stitching? I feel like that's like a separate thing, but I guess, But here, I'll show you, here are some 3-dimensional ones that someone else has posted. My grandmother would do like stuff like this and up in complexity. You see this? So you can take those, it's got the plastic grid map, right? and you can put them next to each other and you can join the corners of them so you can make 3D structures, right? So you have the little house, you have things like that. So my grandmother would draw up her own designs for these and make these. And like I have a fuck ton of her old ones that she made. I have like under the tree every year I put fake presents, fake gifts that are made like this. So they look like presents. They're all handmade by her, that she did all the patterning on and everything. And then she has like, they have like layers too. So these are all single layered where you just see like a design on a flat piece. She would sometimes put a second piece of plastic down or a third and make them 3-dimensional. She went crazy with it. She was just like a crafty person. I have a lot of clothing made by her and stuff. She was just very, very talented with all that. But yeah, a lot of my Christmas decorations that I have are all these sorts of things. And like I kind of like that it looks like a granny vibe. You know what I mean? I look at it and I'm like, yeah, a grandmother. This looks like something a grandmother would make. And I like that being the vibe of things visually on Christmas is like granny mode, you know? Yeah, it's comforting style. Exactly. Yeah, I'm seeing some stuff that other people made as I'm looking through. I should find some stuff that she made at some point and show it, because it was like man, I should show you some of the doilies she made. Doilies are very like old-fashioned, you know, where you sorry, I'm dying. You would post up a thing on a surface somewhere and you'd be like, okay, I need to put something under it to highlight it. So you'd make or get a doily and put it underneath, and it'd be like this little lacy thing. My grandmother would crochet them, but she would make, again, like 3-dimensional multi-layered ones that looked like fucking paintings. I don't know how she like did this shit, and it was not always from pattern, which was the thing that freaked me out. And a lot of them are like, if I look up intricate doily, I see it's always like this round lace thing. I have one from her that's a rectangle and it has imagery of peacocks on it, which I don't, it's insane. It literally looks like a painting, and I'm like, this shit, I'm trying to look up and see if I can find anyone having like crocheted something like it, but I'm just not seeing it. I don't know. I'm seeing some that people made that look, I don't know, more basic than what she did. A lot of the ones I'm seeing too, they look like grids where you fill in like the parts of the grid that you want to be the art, you know, with like a double stitch so it looks darker or whatever. But her shit was like, I can't even describe it. She was insane with crocheting. It was her most favorite thing. Sounds like filet crochet. What is filet crochet? Let me see. I don't know the terms because I never got into this stuff. I just watched her do it and liked it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she didn't really do the grid-like thing too much. I'm saying hers was less like that. Filet crochet is the grid-like one. She did this sometimes. But she didn't like it because she liked having like smooth edges, so she had a lot of rounded shapes in the middle of her stuff. People who crochet can do it without a pattern. It's really magical. Yeah, she could make clothing without a pattern because she just had done it so many times that in her head she kind of already had the general gist of a pattern that she could follow, and she could just freehand it. But she would draw out her own patterns, and she wouldn't write out exactly how many stitches she would need. She would just put down a piece of wax paper and she would draw what she's making. And then she'd just start crocheting and she'd keep laying it flat down over the thing that she drew so that it would end up looking like it. So she's basically crocheting a sketch that she made. That's how she would do it. I remember watching her do it a lot, and sometimes she'd be like, oh, let me like undo this stitch here and like do this type of stitch instead. So she was still like, instead of full patterning it, she was still doing something visually to match it to something, but she just fucking, I don't know. She said fucking we ball. Yeah. Well, she would, I wouldn't call it a pattern, but there was still something to follow, you know? But yeah, it was very much vibe crocheting anyway. She would just draw a rectangle and draw some, fucking birds on it and then be like, I'm gonna crochet this. And then she'd just start. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how she did that, man. I don't know how. Thankfully, I think it's good to know how to do a lot of this stuff. Maybe not crocheting, but like sewing and everything. It's good for people to generally like have skill in this. And I've noticed that there's been a bigger trend of people doing this stuff on social media. There are a lot of people that knit now, and knitting has become like a pretty big community on YouTube, and a lot of crafting and stuff, which is nice. Not bad. Hold on, messaging my friend. There we go. But yeah, Return of Cottage Industry. Yeah, I think people need hobbies that are not super expensive, and you can spend a lot of money on yarns and stuff, but you could also spend less, get cheaper yarn and sit there and do it. And some people will make stuff, wear a thing for a bit, and then they'll undo it. They'll just like take out all the thread, all the yarn that they use, and then make something else. I know some people that will do this. I don't know. I think it's good. I think everyone should know how to hand sew at the very least. Oh yeah, I think one of the best things you can learn how to do is to close up a hole in clothing. To be able to do it with stitching, and sometimes you can stitch like a cute pattern over it so it looks like purposeful, which I think obviously works better for women's clothing, but for men's clothing you can make it work for sure. Dude in your 40s bought a sewing machine this year. It's fun. Yeah, and honestly, being like, oh, the curtains in my house are like 1 inch too long, and being able to just take them up an inch. It's not a hard thing to do, but if you don't know how to do it, it could be daunting. But little tasks like that are so good. So good. You learn needlepoint while spending the summers at your grandparents'? Yeah, my grandmother made me learn the basics of everything. Because she was like, you should know how to do this. But she never cared if I wanted to like get into it. It was just like be able to crochet a line so you understand it. Be able to knit a line so you understand it. And then that was all. That was all. Reattaching buttons is more awkward than it should be. Yeah. Or making a buttonhole in something that if you want like an extra buttonhole at the top, it stops like too low and you want it for warm weather. So you're like, yeah, let me add one. Or at the bottom, maybe the last button is like a little too high. So you're like, let me add a buttonhole. That shit's really annoying to do. But it's good to know how to do. Really good to know. Anyone know how to fix a zipper that just falls on its own? Been fixing all day. You can look this up. You can look this up on YouTube. There's so many good videos on it. What'd you say? Said you might need to update your Twitch description. Alleges you play games that I've never seen you not yapping. I think you just don't come here later ever. Most of my time is spent gaming. More so than chatting. You just probably show up at the beginning and then you leave. We always chat first. We always do. Always. Triple level button pants look so stylish. It's true. It's true. You said cool guy alert. Whoa. Now today I mean, it literally says it in the title. This means the person didn't read the title. Or it meant that they wanted to say that really badly, so they ignored the title. They purposefully ignored it. Can someone knit me a permanent French tuck? That's not how that works. You take the thing and then you tuck it. Boom, French tuck. Boom. You tuck the front. Boom. Freedom tucks. I only do the freedom tuck, man. You're an EU frog. That would be why. That would be why. You're gonna be sleeping soon. Oh, you sleep early. No. Makes sense if you have work. No. No. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I have an NA audience that shows up later. And some of them are like, I wish I could show up for just chatting, but I never do because I'm always at work, you know? So they like never get to see the chatting portion ever. So opposite problem. Some of them are like, I don't actually like watching gaming as much. I like chatting more. And they always miss it because they're only available like 3 hours from now and beyond, you know? Look at the highlights on YouTube. I mean, I've got a VODs channel and we save it all there. It's all there. So, though it is nice to watch stuff live. I genuinely, I don't really watch VODs of other people that often. Just certain people. Depends on what kind of streamer they are. Some streamers, I'm like, I only want to watch them live. Other ones, I'm like, nah, their VODs are good. Depends on the person. It really depends on the person. You stream? No way. I took 3 weeks off and everyone forgot me. Everyone forgot me. You compliant stream. I have genuinely thought about streaming earlier and earlier. The reason why I haven't so far is because the people that I need to have meetings with are available earlier and might not want to do meetings after my stream. So it might not work for all of them. But that depends on the day. I don't stream every single day. Well, not on the main channel at least. But I've thought about it. I have. I don't know. I just don't know. Does it make sense for me to do? IDK, man. IDK. Have your meetings even earlier. No, the thing is, so many of my friends that I want to play games with, they're all degens and they're all up gaming. You know, many of them being Pacific time, which makes that tough. But I end up playing games with them until like 2 a.m. You know, and I do not sleep for too much time. I tend to sleep pretty short, but I work best. My brain works best on certain types of tasks when I first wake up. So I like to wake up, do some morning things that I need to do, and then get some work done that's not streaming. So I'd have to change it around so I'd be able to wake up, stream, and then after stream get a lot of shit done. I don't know if I can do that. I haven't done that for years. I don't know. So I gotta like, I would have to see if that's possible, honestly. I don't know. It's annoying that Twitch doesn't put you at the top of the list for me right now because of your time off. Usually when you're streaming, it's at the top. Oh, it's because you sort it that way. Yeah, well, you have to show up for like a certain number of streams again and then it'll start doing it. Can't you pin people? Did they take that away? Did they still have that? Actually, I don't know if I have that. Can't you favorite streams? Hold on. They might have gotten rid of that. With an extension. I thought they were going to make that native and then I guess they didn't. You know what is kind of crazy though? So you can sort it right now. And you could do followed high to low, like your viewers high to low of the ones you follow, or recommended for you, right? And then sometimes I've been seeing at the top some sponsored streams, which I only started seeing this week. But there's someone that I follow. They're a very small VTuber. And they're doing an Angry Birds 2 sponsored stream through Twitch. It's one of the ones that Twitch gives you. And so it put them at the top of the list for me. That's new. I think it only works if you get the sponsorship like through Twitch, I think. You know, because they have to have something on their back end that lets them know that that's sponsored. But, yeah, and it's huge. It's this huge rectangle. It takes up so much space. But I had never seen one until this week. And yeah, they might have existed before, but I got my first one, you know? I saw that earlier today and I was like, what? What? Now, I think that's great because as someone who does play sponsored stuff here and there, I would like if a bunch of new people come through and they're checking out the game, if I like the game. If I do a sponsor and I don't really like the game, then I kind of don't want that. But, you know, whatever. Whatever. Pay Twitch to get to the top of the list. Gotcha. No, it doesn't. Well, the game, yes, not the streamer. But I don't know. It's interesting. But it's so big. Why is it so big? I think they should just do a normal thing and then just give it like a border. Give it a highlight. You know the way like when a message is sent by a first-time chatter and it has like a light colored background, a color background instead of being gray. Maybe do it like that. Make it like mildly purple, you know? I don't know. The fact that they make it huge is like, it annoys me now, you know, because it's like pushing people out of the way like crazy. That I don't like. I don't know. I don't know. Frankers hides those from you? Or you just haven't seen them? Yeah, I wonder if FFC does. I don't know. I don't know. It puts streamers you don't normally watch at the top of your list and it's so big. Yeah, I mean, that's the tough thing. Sometimes you want to follow people, but you want to watch them infrequently. Honestly, I would just unfollow people that you don't want to watch. That's just me. I'm a creator, though, so I run into the problem. People, like, watch who you're following. They watch who's VIP'd, shit like that. So if you, like, don't talk to someone for a while and you're like, I'm going to unfollow just because, like, I never watch them and I probably won't. I don't dislike them, though. And you hit unfollow, people will be like, oh, why did they unfollow? And they don't see it as, like, me curating things down. So, like, my sidebar, UX-wise, is just people that I watch. They see it as, like, I do not condone this person or something, you know? That's really annoying. There's so many... So I've slowed down on it. I unfollow people on Twitter pretty often, though. Because I just don't want to see them clogging up the feed. It doesn't mean that I don't like them. But sometimes I'll do that. Or if, like, I followed someone 2 years ago and I just have never interacted with them. Their tweets don't even show up on the timeline at all. The follow is just empty. I will just get rid of it sometimes, you know? But then that gets seen as, like... something more than it is, and that's, I don't know, it makes me wary of doing it sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's high school shit. It's weird. I don't know. So now I feel like I can't do that the way I want. I feel like I can't. I should start muting them if I feel like it'll cause an issue. Yeah, I've taken to doing that a little more. There's some people where I'm like, I've literally never... There was like one that I did unfollow within this year. And then at some point, some people like just really wanted me to interact with that person. And then someone like noticed that I had followed them previously and then didn't. And then they emailed me. And my assistant who was checking was like, do you know this user? And I was like, no, I don't know that username. They're like, okay. They sent some crazy email about like, they were basically stalking the following list then, if it's like a random. And they were like reading heavily into something relating to that. And I was like, what are you, I don't know. It was odd. It was very odd. It was very weird. It was just as simple as like, I've never interacted with you. Prune, you know? That's all it was, dude. I don't know. So yeah, I've definitely taken to muting more. For sure. For sure. Yeah, as people you follow the retweet excessively. You can go to a specific person's profile and turn off retweets, though. That is a thing. You can do the little 3-dot menu, like go to a user on Twitter and say mute retweets. So you don't have to mute everything, because then if they post something homegrown, you know, you can still see it. But the retweets you can turn off, which I do a lot because, you know, I try to keep myself away from like world events and world news when I'm in like content creator mode. That stuff has nothing to do with me, the content creator. I keep that all on the personal side, so I don't try to blend those two sides at all. So, yeah, if I'm sitting there and I'm on like at General GEEGA, yeah, I'm gonna mute all of that. I'm gonna turn all of that off. I don't want to see it, and it's, you know, so I undo a lot of retweets for people. Yeah, they retweet the 24/7 news cycle. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I don't think there's anything wrong with like wanting to stay connected on certain things, or like you read like one thing and you look into one situation that's ongoing and you figure out what's going on with it. You read the stuff you want to read about it. You get your opinion formulated, whatever, right? You should be able to just disconnect from it after that. You shouldn't have to like see it constantly, you know? You should be able to choose when you're ready to be inundated with info and when you need to not be. But yeah, it makes it tough. So yeah, I turn off a lot of retweets, man. So many. One good thing about the VTuber bubble, rarely gets political. Yeah, when it does, it's like the fastest mute or block for me ever. The fastest. You remember a VTuber that was super excited about me blocking them? Really? Really? I don't know. I do remember one person that I did block kept talking about it for the next like 2 months. And I kept seeing it because other people would tag me in replies. They'd be like, why did @username block you? And I'm like, wasn't the whole point that I don't see it? Like, wasn't that the whole point? So then I have to block those people. And I'm just like, oh, now you can't tag me, you know? That shit is crazy. Crazy. But I pretty much only block someone if they've been really weird to me, really weird to a friend, or the stuff that they tweet or the stuff that they make content of is just so like vile or something. And I'm just like, I can't. You know, I just can't. Yeah, I agree, Bite. You know, there are some bubbles that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage. There are people within those bubbles that can be okay, and they're just kind of trying to get the bag. I still can't stand it, don't care. It doesn't mean that I think that person's the worst person ever. I'm like, I don't want to see this and I don't want to be interacted with. There's some other people that I want to block, but I haven't because I'm like, if I do that, it will be a crumb of attention and they will never stop. You know, they will never stop. There's some bubbles, some pockets of people that like, and you can tell because it's always the same 10 people posting about the same things with the same shit attitude and the same old talking points that they bring up, blah, blah, blah. A lot of like people that act pseudo-informed and pseudo-intellectual that will do this stuff. And I'm like, I can't block these people because if I do, they'll be like, she's noticed me. Whoa. And then, you know, it gets worse. That's why I really wish Twitter had shadow banning, shadow blocking, the same way YouTube does, where you just hide somebody. Because you can hide them from your end, but you can't hide them from everyone else in a shadow way, right? You can only like block in a way where they can see they've been blocked, and then they're like, woo! I've been blocked, I've been noticed, you know? So that sucks. Is it muting the same as shadow ban? No. No, it's not. Because if I mute someone on Twitter, I can't see them. But everyone else still can. So if I post good morning guys and then like asshole account 1 comes up and is like, oh, good morning, what about this thing you said 3 months ago, meh, 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 right? If I have them muted, then I won't see that reply, but other people still will. They're still able to reply to me, and then other people that follow me can see that, right? So I want to be able to mute them from like all things, like any reply. If they reply to me, they're in a thread with me, then that is muted, if that makes sense, like for everybody. That's how YouTube works with the hide feature, hide user. So like, it's good because that person still feels like they're posting. But if I see a user on YouTube that goes to like every one of my clips and says some like crazy shit, I can hide them. And now anytime I post anything and they reply, any interaction they have that normally would be visible to other people on my account in any way, that no one can see it. No one can see it. They're fully shadow realmed. And it's great because instead of them going to a video and being like, you are blocked, you can't comment, and having a big pop-up, instead they feel like they're commenting. And when they leave a comment, they see it. No one else does. So it's good because it doesn't give them that like satisfaction attention crumb by giving them like the message like, oh, you've been blocked or whatever. Yeah, it's just a brick wall. So they don't even notice that they're shadow banned. Right? That's a really good feature because that's the best way to get rid of people that like getting blocked will just make them do more because they've gotten attention, right? I wish Twitter had that. It would get rid of a lot of harassment. A lot of it. It would let you curate a lot better. I don't know. It'd be the best thing they could add. Yeah, it's literally comment purgatory. It literally is. Oh, you saw a thing where someone thought they were hiding YouTube commenters, but were banning them on accident. I mean, if you feel like you're gonna hide them, then banning isn't that crazy, I feel, right? Like, if you're like, I don't want anyone to see this guy, then I don't know. I don't know. I have plenty of people that I've hidden here and there, but it's in the grand scheme of things, it's still not that many. I don't really get a lot of people like that. It's like 10, you know? It's not a big deal. It's literally like 10 people. Same thing on Twitter with the people that I like want to block, but won't because that'll be like the attention crumb. It's probably like 5 people. So it's really not even significant, right? So even if I can't do that and they still can comment shit, it's whatever. Right? They're not really effective, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just kind of on the side, wish I could, but not a big deal. Wish Twitch had shadow banning where you can just trap a guy in the crystal. They sit there typing slurs in chat, but nobody ever sees. Yeah, because the banning someone from chat thing on Twitch, again, gives you like this huge, like the whole chat gets covered. It gets grayed out. And then it has a big symbol, and it's like, you've been banned from chat. And I think it would be better to just hide. Which is what, actually, that's the one thing I don't like YouTube's moderation tools for live streaming. They're like very annoying UX-wise to use. But the one thing that I do like is exactly that. Having the hide user feature work in your live chat is great because they'll still watch and they'll still type and they'll still feel like they can like be there. Because sometimes you don't necessarily want to tell that person they can't watch. But you don't want other chatters to see them because they're going to genuinely ruin the vibe, right? So being able to put them in the shadow realm is nice because they can sit there and type. They can sit there and type and they can get the feeling of the experience without ruining it for others. And I think that's good because there are some people that should be banned. They're like haters, but there are other people that just, maybe their vibe is off. Their vibe is off and they're a little weird, a little, like disruptive. But they're not like a bad person to the point where I'm like, I have to ban you and I don't want you here ever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like gray area people like that where I feel like that shadow ban would be so much better because then they could still have the experience of typing. Maybe it sequesters their comments into a different spot where if we open it, we can still see it, you know? Yeah, if they're just bad at interacting, right. And I think I'd like something for those people because I think those people get rejected kind of like wherever they go. Like they get banned from a lot of chats and they're like, I don't understand why everyone hates me. And then they doom spiral and they have a bad time. And I'm like, well, could have just made a hide feature. You know, could have just had a hide feature. I don't know. You said, but when they notice that no one's reading their comments? No, because in larger chats, no one responds to you most of the time. The streamer kind of scans what you're saying, but you can only pick a couple things to directly read out and answer. So those people would not notice for the most part. They really would not. Wouldn't you want them to know they're shadow banned? They would feel quite dejected about it. No, the point is they wouldn't know. That's the point. That's the good part of it. You know? It should be like that. Because I want those people to have the experience of being able to sit there and type whatever fuck-ass shit they're going to type. But not always have other chatters see it. Because it's just not good sometimes. I've had some notice their message doesn't appear on the screen. Yeah. That's definitely a thing that if you have chat on screen, you can't avoid. You just can't avoid. Back in my day, people didn't always put chat on the screen, but yeah. Ooh. You knew a user who had a very vitriolic kind of love for a streamer? Ugh, what does that mean? And the whole chat and streamer knew how to deal with it. But ultimately, their account got banned from all of Twitch because it was some absolutely nasty stuff to say to someone who didn't know the context. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. Some people, like, they treat some things as an inside joke, but then they push really hard. And, like, it just shouldn't exist in the chat after a certain point, right? Because you have to consider there are new people that have, like, never been here showing up and then just reading the chat. And if they see someone with, like, going all in on a bit that is very much an inside joke but comes off to others as crazy, then it's like, you know, maybe that should be pruned. That behavior should be pruned. Yeah, Bite, I've seen the same study. It's ultimately healthier being able to shadow ban people rather than, like, giving them the attention, letting them know they're banned. Because oftentimes when people get banned, they immediately, in that moment, get embarrassed, upset, frustrated. And those feelings make people want to do something about it. They spring into action, which makes them likely to, yes, ban evade or to, like, go to other platforms. It makes them start adding you on Twitter, right? They get banned in your Twitch chat and then they post a picture of it and they're like, why am I banned? Right? I had one dude that was just being weird and he was pushing, he was a VTuber, a small VTuber, and he was pushing and trying to be friends with all these other VTubers. And he was like, it was so clear what he was doing because he would try to ask everyone for collabs, whatever. And then he was like kind of just weird on stream with people. And he didn't like break any crazy social rules or actual laws or anything, but it was very odd and it made people very uncomfortable. And, he would come into people's chats and directly, like, act like he's friends with people. And he would do this to smaller VTubers a lot. He would hop in and be like, hey, yeah, oh, yeah, I love this game. If you ever want to play, let me know. He would, like, do that when you, like, don't really know him that well, like, in your chat. And you'd be like, that's something you DM someone, but you don't put that in their chat, especially when you don't know them. Like, it was just kind of weird. So I ended up just banning him in the chat. And bro, this was when I had DMs on Twitter open. Bro DM'd me with a picture of the ban with like 5 question marks. I was like, you're fucking weird, buddy. Sorry. Made me uncomfortable. My boundary is here and you were there. You know, let's calm down. Let's calm down. You think you remember who that was? There have been a few like that. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with wanting to like naturally grow closer to people, but when you like push it, it feels so weird to be on the receiving end of it. It feels so odd, and it's just I don't know. It's one thing when you shoot your shot one time, but when people kind of ignore it and then you do it like 5 times, then it's no longer shooting your shot. Now it's pushing, you know? So, I don't know. Stuff like that. I'm just like, Yeah, Garrick, exactly. I've had that happen in RP, Garrick, actually, on the server. People who I would log on and within 5 minutes would be calling me. And I'm like, how do they know I just logged in? Because there's nothing on the server that pings someone to let them know that a player has logged in or anything like that. You just have to try to call and see if they answer the call or something, or text and see if the character texts back or whatever. So how do you check? Well, you can hold the U key and you can just camp the list to see what users connect at the end, which you in character shouldn't know that. So number 1, breaking rules. But 2, people would also just pull up my stream and see, oh, she just logged in. Okay, now I'll call. And that shit was making me uncomfortable. And some of these people were really nice. I didn't even hate them. It was just like that was the one thing that they did. Isn't there an in-game Twitter? There is, but if your character wakes up, you know, and you don't post on in-game Twitter, but then people are just like, oh, boom, I called you. Oh, I just figured you'd be awake. Like, you know, kind of weird. There are some people I've had to like just start ignoring. It's much better nowadays, but in the early days I had to like ignore here and there. And the problem is, a lot of the time, I actually don't dislike these people. But like when you do that one thing like that, I'm like, I can't like, even if I enjoy you in other ways, I can't just like be like, oh, this is fine, because then you're probably going to push other boundaries, and I just can't, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Extremely awkward guy who doesn't mean to be weird is really hard to deal with. Yeah, that's the problem too. A lot of the time, like, that's what I mean by, like, I don't dislike them. Like, I know they don't mean it. They're overexcited. They're overexcited, and I'm like, ugh. I don't know. You remember that happening within 5 seconds of me waking up? I know. Nagi. Nagi, thank you for the raid. Konagi, welcome. 11-hour potato Pokemon? Wait, what was she doing? Let's see. Twitch. Sorry, I'm typing with one hand because my other hand was touching food. Twitch.tv/Nagisekai. Let me see. Oh, yeah, she was playing Zaza. ZA. Yeah, I need to go through and beat it. I've played some of it. I need to go through and beat that game. Let me see, what Pokemon does she have? Oh, she chose Chikorita. She's Meganium. She's Glaceon, Riolu, Gyarados, Absol. Oh, okay. Gardevoir, she's got a Charizard. Hold on, I'm clicking toward the end. I'm seeing what team she's got by the end of the stream. Cutscenes. Let me see your team. Yeah, I like her team. Not bad. We should fight. I gotta make my team good. We can fight. She's 100 EVs. Oh, I know. Would you say, Garrick, that's Giga normal? I know, Garrick, I know. Garrick, that's why my character's just gonna be meaner over time. Is it worth the $70? I think so. I've been putting a lot of hours into it, and I still have so many hours to put in still. I like the gameplay a lot. I think it's fine. I am fine for with games costing that much if they feel finished. Because games were like, what, $50, $60 for like decades. Okay, let's be real. They were that much for a really long time, and they haven't really moved up with inflation. I get it. I'm cool with them being $70 if they feel finished. Okay? If they feel finished and they put a good amount of content in it, so I feel like I'm getting a good amount of time put in. So even if it completely doesn't feel entirely finished, like I'm like, there's some things aren't polished, I'm okay with it lacking some polish as long as I'm, again, getting a good number of hours out of it. Because in my mind, game value is dollar per hour of entertainment. Okay? Dollar per hour of entertainment. A game like Balatro, where it's like, what, like $20, and then you can play for like 300 hours and be entertained. Huge value. That game should cost more. Great. Pokemon is something that I tend to put a lot of hours into. So even if the game isn't perfectly polished, I'm like, I'm okay with the $70 because I'm putting in, like, you know, so few dollars per hour of entertainment. Right? And then it's also like quality of hours. I love Pokemon, so they're pretty good quality hours to me. I like it. There are other games that I put in a good number of hours on, but I feel like those hours weren't very good quality. So I kind of like, you know, then I'm like, So it's kind of subjective, but yeah, you said if it hits $1 an hour, it's worth it, but there's definitely games that are worth it at like $5 an hour. Right, that's where it gets subjective, because what if it's like $5 an hour, but it's like the greatest 20 hours of your life, you know? Right? So it still depends. I'm cool with this one being 70. I'm cool with games being more expensive than that $60 limit if it still hits those metrics for me, right? So that's where I'm at that. Because I don't try to take a game and look at a price tag and be like, this value is the same for all games. A game is the same as another game next to it. Because it's not. The replayability, the amount of time you put in, how good the game is, these are all factors that change how I feel about it, right? Like when you buy clothing, if you buy a shirt that is like incredibly good quality, super well made, never gonna break down, it's one of those buy it for life items, it's probably gonna be like really expensive. And then you buy like a shitty t-shirt for $3 and that shit falls apart. Wide price range relating to quality range. Is it always perfectly done? No, but ideally, in a lot of cases it is. It's very much like you pay more and you get something better when you buy from these companies that are reputable for being like, yeah, it's more expensive, but it's buy for life. Great. Games don't do that, though. Games don't do that. They're just like, I'm a AAA studio. I make shit slop that people keep buying. Therefore, I'm allowed to make my shit $60, But then people buy these games and they're like, wow, this is shit, And then there's, John Balatro comes out and is like, hey, it's me, Local Thunk. I put out one of the best games of the year. It's $20. And if that guy came out the gate and was like, I made my game $60 because it's that good, people would have been like, are you crazy? Right? They would have like shat on him. But then when you look at the actual quality of the game, I'm like, this shit is great. It's simple, but you get so many hours out of it. Yeah, it's the indie discount. So I don't know, game pricing doesn't really scale with that because you don't know how good something is until you already play it. So it's like you can't really like pre-price something based off of how good you, the dev, think it is. It's just one of those situations there's no good answer to, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, Silk Song being 20 was crazy. Right. That's a game where I'm like, you could have easily bumped that price up at least to 40, And because we had the first game, a lot of people would have looked at that and been like, you know what? I'm okay with paying 40 for this because I'm going to have more fun with it than I am with a lot of other AAA games. I know I'm going to put a good number of hours into it. And it would have been fine, but they didn't. So I don't know. It's just a weird thing where I'm like, ideally game pricing could scale a little with like how good the game is, but there's no good way to do that. There's really no good way to do that. People have to buy the game and then play it and then decide if that was worth it or not. And that's it, right? Like, it just doesn't happen backwards from that. He said, bring back video game rentals at Blockbuster, you cowards. Bring back Blockbuster, you cowards. Yeah. I think that's why a lot of games have demos now. I think that's what the popularity of demo days and stuff does. So you can at least get a taste of it and be like, okay, do I feel like this price might be justified off of the bit I've seen and felt? And that's helpful. It's not perfect, but it's, a good step in that direction for sure. You want the Voices of the Void dev to start charging money for his game? A lot of people have played it. I've been holding off because I want to like wait for him to get to a bigger release, because isn't it still an alpha? I feel like, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to do that until it's like full released, but so many people have already played it. I feel like he's losing so much value. He should at least charge something. I don't know. Only time I've seen is when Vampire Survivors went from 5 to 7. I think indie devs should do this. It would piss people off, but I think indie devs should do that. They should put out their game at whatever price they think it should be at. And if it gets really popular and it's boom going up in how many people are buying it, they should boom increase their price. That is my opinion. Only when they start it at a super low price for what it is. Because a lot of the time they price it way lower than they should because they're like, I'm an indie dev and I need people to buy it. So I'm going to make it this shit price that barely makes me any money. And that's super unfair to the dev, but it's the only way to do it. It's the only way to get sales, Sounds like a bad idea. Yeah, that's why I said people would complain. Like, I don't see it working. But they could. They could try. If enough of them do it, then it would work. Burn a lot of the goodwill? I don't think it would if it were something that were announced. I think if they did it under people's noses, like when you didn't see it was going to happen, it like you were thinking about buying the game and now it's 20 instead of 10 and you had no idea, then maybe people would have that issue where it would burn goodwill. But if it does really well and they're like, hey, we underpriced this game because I'm just like a dev and 2 friends that helped me on this. The reviews are great, whatever. I am now going to increase the price as of X date. As of X date. Then I think that wouldn't burn the goodwill. That'd be fine. You know, as long as it's like you set an expectation. If you can manage expectations, it's okay. Because then people don't feel like you're like fucking lying to them. You know what I mean? Then that's okay. But yeah, if you did it suddenly, you're like, oh, let me increase my price, and it's just suddenly up, then yeah, no, there's no way. People would be just pissed. How would they announce they're going to change the price of a game in a way that everybody would see it? You put it on the Steam store page. You put it on the Steam store page and you post on Twitter and you're like, hey, it's at this price until this date. And then it's going up. And you can word it like it's going up to a normal price for this game. Because that's kind of like what it is for a lot of indies. But yeah, they increase the price of the early access. For sure. That's a ton of them do that with early access. They put the game out in early access. A lot of people buy it at that time. And they give reviews and they say it's good. And then when they do their like 1.0, that's when it goes up to, instead of 20, now it's 30 or whatever. And people have never complained about that because it was announced and the expectation was set, you know? So, I'm making it $300. I'm making it $5 million. I don't know. Could you even make that a nose in the actual game? Absolutely. You can make it on like the menu screen. 100%. 100%. That's what they did with Vamp Survivors. They gave people like a week. Yeah. That's why that one worked out well and people didn't like get super upset about it. I'm not saying they have to do a huge price hike, but they went from $5 to $7 because the game was so popular, and they would be remiss to take a game that had the amount of content they were adding to it as well and just leave it at the same price. So, you know, instead it was like, okay, well, we'll increase it. Yeah, Factorio as well, but we'll give people a date. You know, I think that's the way you have to do it. Heard a ton of indie games on Steam don't even make back the listing fee. Yeah. I mean, the problem is, you know, let's say you're one dev and you spent a year making your game. And you have bills, and your bills cost you, I don't know, $40,000 for the year. You need to have $40,000 to break even on just your life. And you spent all your time making this game. Well, now you have to make $40,000. Okay? Let's make it, yeah, let's do 40,000. So let's say you have to make $40,000 to live that year. If you divide that by 5, you make your game $5, you need 8,000 people to buy your game. You would need 8,000 sales, which for a little indie game just put out there to like, you know, everybody, but with no marketing, that's tough. That's actually tough, you know? You're living at your parents' house and you only need like, I don't know, 15K, being kind of generous here. You need 3K people to download your game at $5, right? But if your shit is $10, you would need half the people to download it, you know? So when you can price your game a little higher, even a couple dollars higher, it cuts down how many thousands of people need to download a thing to make something livable. It's very significant to go from $5 to $7 on your little game, right? But the thing is, you get to a point where once you've broken even and you've paid all of your devs, all of your fees for your studio, all of your bills, now you're just making extra, right? Now you're just making extra. So when you're a AAA studio and you sell like 200,000 copies, which is really low actually, of your game, you sell 200,000 copies at $60, that's 12 million. That's 12 million. You know what I mean? So if you're an indie dev and you spend a couple of years, it's usually not even 1 year, if you spend a couple of years making a game, it's like 3 years that it took you, and you're working on the side, so maybe it's like a year and a half's worth of hours actually, and you want to make money back to just cover those hours, but you are an indie dev, so you have to price your game at $5. It's just such a like daunting thing to be like, well, now I have to make X number of thousands of sales just to earn my shit back. You know, it's it sucks. It just sucks. Everything is better with scale. If you can get people buying your game, then you could leave it at that $5. And let's say you get, 1 million downloads. Okay, well, now you're doing really well. But, this is why viral marketing is really important to a lot of indie devs. Because, yeah, you could be local funk and you can make Balatro. But let's see. Balatro downloads. Can we see how many downloads there were? Do they have their sales anywhere? I wonder. I know you can always see concurrent players of a game, but 10 months ago, they sold 3.5 million copies. A little less than a year ago, they sold 3.5 million copies of the game. Someone did the math. They said the game's $15. Then it would have made about 52 mil. Take Steam's 30% cut. Google Play and Apple Store also about 30%. It's about 15. That one guy walked around with roughly like 37 mil. Right? I do think there's a lot of stuff with regional pricing as well that would change this. There's overhead put into like the art assets and things. I don't think this guy drew all the art himself. He must have had artists helping, or maybe he did. I don't know. I don't actually know on that part, but there might have been other people he paid for. Also taxes. Well, yeah, we're talking pre-tax. But, you look at all of this and you're like, man, like the low pricing on a game doesn't really matter if you can just get enough people to download, right? It's just scale. It's just scale. So then when we circle back to the whole beginning of this conversation of, am I okay with the Pokemon game costing $70? I always say this, AAA studios don't need to price their games high at all because they sell scale, because they sell millions of copies, right? They don't need to at all. They could make their games $20 and it would sell super well. But the problem is there's this like prestige thing. You're a AAA studio, or you're Nintendo, you're the Pokemon company, right? And you have your game and it's a Pokemon game. They do have more overhead, but hold on, we'll get there. You have your game that you're going to sell and you set it at $40, $30. What happens to all the other indie devs? If this is I'm looking at this from the indie perspective. We're not talking about whether the AAA studio needs to price where it is. We're going to look at this from the indie dev perspective. If you're an indie dev sitting there and Pokemon is like, I don't need to price my game at $60 because we sell so much scale. So I'm going to be the good guy and I'm going to make my game $30. Well, now every indie dev is going to have to sell their games at fucking $2 because people are going to look at their $20 game and be like, I could just buy Pokemon, which is clearly so prestigious, for $30. And it sort of like anchors the price somewhere that indie devs then have to like react to, which is really, that sucks for them so bad. That shit sucks for them so bad. But it's like, it's this weird thing. I've seen some people be like, oh, this shit should be cheaper because, they sell so many copies. And I'm like, yeah, on paper, I get that. But it would create this weird problem for indie devs where people are always comparing quality and they think AAA is so much better than indie, blah, blah, blah. That they feel like they need to see indie games be priced like half of what a AAA is because they're aware of overhead. And they see that and then they're just like, I don't know, you just run into this weird situation where indie devs would be affected too. So it's just interesting. I don't know. People still think that, yeah, they shouldn't, but they do. Even with how much people shit on AAA studios, they still are like, oh, well, this one had 3 concept artists on it, so it's so much better, Bite, thank you for the 5 gifted, by the way. Thank you. But I don't know, you would have all these like weird cascading issues. So do I love that games are like getting more expensive here and there? No, I think it makes sense for inflation and things. Like things haven't been moved up for a while. So I'm not mad at it if the game is good. But the silver lining of it, the like actual good thing, is that the more a AAA game starts to cost, the more indie devs can keep their prices in spots that make sense for them and maybe eat food, you know? Maybe they'll get to eat like a nice steak or something once. Because it's fucking hard out there, man. So I see that as like every time I see these studios make their games more expensive and more people are like, maybe I won't buy this AAA game, I see it as a win for indies because I'm very much on the side of I love a lot of indie games. I see that and I'm like, maybe now they can live a little better. Maybe people will look at their games more. Maybe their price will stay the same, but they'll make more sales because people are like, I want to play games, but I just can't be spending, $100 on GTA 6 or whatever. So it'll kind of turn people toward indie games more, which has happened over the years. As people have been hating on AAA more and more because the quality's been kind of shit, kind of shit. We've seen a lot of shift to it, which is great. It's great. And you guys know I really love indie games. I really love all these small projects and everything. So I'm kind of like it's like an evil thing maybe a little bit, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, make your games $80. Yeah, make them $90. Because then I'm hoping that their sales go down in volume a little bit. And then you get more indie games being purchased at lower prices. People buy and try more games. More individual small devs end up making enough money to live and make more games. And then we have a better market. We just have more shit coming out from these smaller devs because they can live and eat and keep doing what they're doing, So it's like a little... It'd be nice if that happened in other ways, but it is definitely evening out a little bit. You hear him? I closed the door on him because I have food in here. Yeah. But I don't know. So I look at Pokemon being 70 and I look at some people being like, oh, I'm not going to buy it. And I'm like, yeah, go buy this other little game. We're going to play more of it later today, but I played more Seance of Blake Manor. That game's fucking good. That game is really fucking good. It's published by Raw Fury. It's a smaller team. It's normally $20. It's on sale for 18. Ooh. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is such a good and rich game. And it's so much better than a lot of shit that's like $60 right now. So I don't know. I just look at this and I'm like, yeah, for every person that doesn't buy that more expensive AAA, they might seek out a cheaper thing. They might buy Ball Pit, stuff like that. Too bad we can't get any Pokemon indie clones because I could sue the shit out of them. Yeah, I know. In theory, wouldn't the cycle repeat when indie devs get bigger and they become the new Kaka AAA? Maybe, but as long as the market lends itself to smaller devs being able to do their thing and grow, then you'll always get more of them. So long as the possibility is there. So yeah, if some of the ones you like get bigger and become the new poo-poo AAA, or their shit gets bought up or whatever, that's okay. There will be a new one that shows up because the scenario and the situation lends itself to them being able to do it, right? That's sort of what people are complaining about with Twitch right now. They're like, oh, they keep propping up big streamers, but they also keep propping up celebrities coming in and streaming. And the more they do that, the more they create a scenario where the little guy can never just show up and get big anymore. Sort of the opposite, right? But old Twitch was set up in a way where, yeah, the little guy could just show up and get big if they did well or they were funny or whatever, because the scenario was there. And yeah, you'd get some people that grew too big and became kind of shitters, but the platform was done in a way where a new little guy could show up. So if your favorite big streamer, is like, actually, I only talk about politics now, and you're like, no, I just want to watch video games. There were so many other smaller streamers that you could find very easily, And that's what people always liked about streaming. Same kind of scenario. It just things mechanically just have to be set up so that that's possible. Really, how did Queso get big? Feels like he came out of nowhere. Well, there will always be outliers. I mean, there will always be the one-offs here and there. But really, in the past few years, it's only been Jinxie, Queso. Everyone else has been brought up by an org or a group of friends that's already huge, like the Kingmaker system, where they're kind of already big and they're like, this is my friend, watch him. And they throw their audience at their friend. So FaZe is doing really well right now. Anyone who's friends with Kai is doing really well. That seems to be like the only way now. Streamer nepotism, yeah, but that's always existed to some extent. It's just, it wasn't like the only way before. Now it's like, it feels like it's the only way, unless you're literally queso. And you have to get so lucky to be one in, you know, a crowd of millions of streamers that is queso and just shows up and like does well, you know? He also didn't do well out of nowhere. He was trying for a bit and eventually it worked, you know? So, I don't know. Cases like that are much more rare than they used to be. Much more rare. I don't know, man. We do love Case, though. I'm excited. There's some... I won't leak it, but there's some cool shit. Some cool shit that, he's doing soon. Relating to Cheeky. I'm excited. I'm excited. He says Wild Jinxie is more happy playing Clash instead of Rainbow Six right now. I think anyone would be more happy playing Clash than fucking Rainbow Six, okay? I'm gonna be honest. The community around Rainbow Six can be so ass sometimes. So ass. You see Queso's interview with Lena? I didn't see it yet. I saw that it happened. I didn't actually get to watch it yet. I saw like screenshots of the of the thing. But I like Case. I like Case. I said, I think people with interesting ideas or a fun personality have a bigger chance. Yeah, water's wet. Two most toxic communities in gaming are League and Siege. League? Absolutely not. I know it gets memed on. The League community, people sitting there watching streams, are so much better. They're not great. So much better than a lot of other communities, though. If I'm being honest with you. You think that's bad? It gets so much worse. Counter-Strike EU lobbies. Yeah. Overwatch was more toxic than League chat? 100%. 100%. Yeah, Genshin! Dude. Genshin has a community of people that are very sweet, very nice, just love the characters. And then you say one thing and you're like, you know, I wish they put this character in pants instead of shorts. And next thing you know, 3 minutes later, death threats. Like, it's actually crazy. It's actually insane. The level of, like, unhealthiness that comes out sometimes is... dude, I don't know. I would take League over that any day. Any day, man. Yeah, completely unhinged. And the thing is, there are plenty of them that are, like, normal, but if you're, like, a normal fan and you're willing to sit around in spaces where a lot of those people exist, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. Yeah, they do death threats to VAs who have nothing to do with anything. One character will be shipped with another character, and then they say a line in game that, like, makes it obvious that, like, it's not canon, which it never was. And then fans start freaking out, and then they send that VA death threats. How dare you record this line? You know? Like, shit like that. And I'm like, what? It's the same kids as it always was. It's the same ones, dude. It's a kid thing. Anything, I talked about this the other week, but anything that has a terminally young audience is going to be more likely to have that going on, for sure. For sure. But I gotta say, that community has the best fan art. It has the best artists, the best people just making, like, original content in some way. They have people doing these, like, free feature-length movie animations about the characters, and I look at that and I'm like, wow, I wish VTubers had that, man. Like, which they do for, like, some, but only a select few, man. I don't know. That's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, the fan works are really good. Really good. Sometimes you see a an artist and you're like, oh, I want to commission them. They do really good work. And then they're like, sorry, I literally will only draw and post Genshin. And you're like, you won't take commercial work? Like, you won't let me pay you? And they're like, no, I'm here for the love of the game. and they're like a commercial level artist. And you're like, okay. Okay. It's just crazy. Crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna put this last little bit of food here away. And then I'm gonna let Nucky into this room because he's been meowing at the door the whole time. And then we'll play a game. I wanted to check out Slots and Daggers for a little bit. And then after, I want to continue the Seance of Blake Manor, okay? Alright? I'll be right back. Dude, it's my favorite song. Alright, I'll be right back. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Eva the Hype Train. Taka, thank you for 5 gifted. Yeah? Bite as well earlier, thank you for 5 gifted. Okay. Alright. Alright. What that guy said. What that guy said. Hold on, wait, I have to do a check. Hive check. Hive check. I'm looking at my legs, 1 sec. I think I'm good. Yesterday I got covered in hives. And I don't know why. I'm not seeing anything new. I'm not seeing anything new. Should be good. They're better today. It wasn't yesterday, but like last night, I started feeling slightly itchy, but it was like normal scratch. It kind of goes away a little. Same spot itches again an hour later. It's like nothing. Didn't really look like anything. And then yesterday, I had those like raised sheets of hives. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, here we go. And they were just at like my knees and down on both legs. So both legs is bilateral. And then they moved. So they started like in the knee and calf area and itched on both sides, and then moved down to like the ankle area. They were still up there, but then I got more like in the ankle area and both sides itched. And then they went to my feet, and dude, everything, including like the bottoms of my feet itched. It was hellish. It was hellish. And then now they are like, they're not gone completely, but like a lot better. Like, it's buffering, there's nothing I can do. So that is weird. I don't know what gave me these hives. The last time I had hives, I was in high school. And they were also on my legs for the most part. That's it. And that was also after, back then, there was a day where I went out and ate a lot of different things. Like a lot of different things, so that could have been anything. And this time I had some places that I hadn't really eaten at before within the past few days. I had one the day before where I started getting like a tiny bit itchy at night. But a lot of the stuff that was in that food, as far as I know, is all stuff I've had before. Like there's a lot of stuff I have tried at this point. At my big age, you know, or whatever. So I'm like, I must have touched something. I don't know. But the other factor is that I took out some, like, wintry clothing, thicker clothing, from a bin that had been sitting there for a while with winter clothing in it. And I swapped out some of the warm weather stuff. And I put on something that was in that bin. So maybe, just maybe, it was contact related due to that, because it was only the pants that I put on, and it was only the leg area. Weirdly, that it was only knee down though. So I'm like, I think it was the fabric, but what? That bin has never been in an attic or anything like that. Like it's only been in like sitting in a room that I store some other stuff in. And or Nucky's playing. No, I haven't changed detergent. I haven't. All the stuff that you would think it could be, like, isn't a factor because I haven't changed anything. So I'm like, something must have gotten into that bin. It could have been like a... Nucky. Wait, hold on, he's here. Oh, he's on his crinkle sack. You ever seen a crinkle sack? Nucky. Speak. Oh, he's like lashing his tail. Nucky. Alright, he's just a bit crazy. Might be some irritant that you were used to, but immune system forgot about it for months. But I didn't change anything. I've used the same detergent for years. I've used the same everything for years. I literally have not changed any of it. And I have grabbed other things from that bin over the months here and there and put them on and haven't had an issue. Because that bin wasn't only exclusively warm weather clothing. It's just like any clothing that doesn't fit in the drawers that I'm not going to wear right now just kind of gets thrown in this one bin, right? Like a plastic tub type thing. So I don't know. Because I feel like once every like 2 months or so, something gets pulled out of that bin and worn. So I don't fucking know. These pants are cursed, I guess, is my thing. Do you hear him? When I tell you my cat's fucking insane, like, I mean it. He plays this game where, like, he's the bad guy. He's the big evil. Okay, and he, like, runs around and like, shoves his body under the... I have this one cabinet to my right that is, it's got a gap that's about 4 or 5 inches from the floor on the bottom. He runs full speed at it and, like, puts his legs out and slides under it flat and then growls under it as he does that. Like, he is the monster who hides in the dark or something. I'm trying to figure out what he's thinking. I don't know, but he loves that shit. And then when you hear him like running and you hear his feet like skidding, it's because he's like clawing his way out from under that. You know, so you hear his feet like frantically against the floor. Man. Yeah, he's hunting. I don't know. He's crazy with it, man. He's crazy with it. He is a bit dark and twisted. He's a crazy boy. He's a crazy boy. I always say, you know, if I threw him outside, if somehow he accidentally got out and I couldn't find him, he would survive for a while. He'd be fine. He's from the streets, dude. He's from the streets. Anyway, not currently dying from hives, slightly itchy. Some of the spots I was last night, the tiniest bit, but like they're going down and it's not itchy enough that I have to scratch it. I can ignore and thug it out. So that's good, I guess. Not dying. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, I wanted to try, because I haven't played it yet, I wanted to try Slots and Daggers. Oh, see, here's an example. Slots and Daggers is normally $8. It's on sale for $5.59. And they sold 100k copies as of today.
Not sure if it's on your radar or not, but Shroom and Gloom is another worth checking out.
Yeah.
The roguelite that's been really fun.
I have it on the list. I might actually do something with them. I'm not sure. So this guy made $559,000 for Slots and Daggers, assuming he's a single dev. Which I don't think so. I think he must have, I don't know. I think he's definitely paid some people for art assets and things like that. I don't know how long it took this guy to make this either. And I don't know how many devs they have on this project. It's like 100k sales is great, but depending on how many people worked on this thing, that could actually not be too much for each of those people. Still really good though. I don't know. It didn't hit with you for the demo? You said, shit, I need to make a roguelike or something? Dude, no. The only reason they sold 100k, and I think the game seems fine. The reason why they were able to have really good sales is because Northernline played this game. Okay? Anytime a streamer who is known for playing stuff like this plays a game like this, people will buy it. Okay. Even Balatro was initially because of NL. I would say it was more so, was it Dan? There was someone else who played it first and then was like, NL, you gotta play it. But then he started playing it and played it for a while. I'm pretty sure it was Dan, because I saw Dan play it initially. Yeah, Clover Pit as well. So then when that gets pushed up to someone like NL, who people do watch for these types of games, then yeah, you're probably gonna get like 50k sales. You know? I gotta say with Clover Pit, I enjoyed playing some of it. I actually don't think the game is that good as I play it more, though. Sorry to say. I think it's pretty fun, and also play more of it and, like, finish the thing. The you can just lose everything 666 mechanic just makes it annoying. I think it's just a frustrating mechanic that it adds nothing fun to the gameplay. And yeah, it wore off for me too. It did. It did. It's not bad. I think they could probably add more to it, and make it better. It's a good basis, but it needs more. It just needs more juice. I think it's a really good basis. Anything that's got that slot type mechanic or like, you know, the Gamba definitely feels a little like an auto battler. Kind of same thing where it's like, just see what happens based off of these stats that you've given it and these things you've given it. Okay, there's the game music. But yeah, it's just missing something. Slots and daggers. Get it twisted. All right, we'll try this out for a little bit and then we'll go to Seance. It's like you have to think about your situation, Balatro, a lot more. Yeah, I think people who like playing these types of games just want it to be less pure RNG and they want more... You can affect your runs more and you can have guaranteed, you know, like 9 times out of 10 good enough runs if you're good at the game because you're making good choices. And some are better and worse than others. That's part of the RNG of it. But you want to feel like your skill did something there. With Clover Pit, you can just lose the game, even if skill-wise you did everything right, because you just get that 666 at the wrong moment. Boom, it kills the whole run.
Hey,
you know?
GEEGA, congratulations, by the way, on being the newest...
Thanks, dude. Thanks. Thanks, big dog. Oh. Hold on. Hold on, I'm doing a few settings. A few settings. Okay, hold on. Now let's go over here.